Do you own an annuity, either fixed rate, indexed, or variable? Are you paying high fees and getting low returns? If so, Annuity General would like you to have this free book to learn the pitfalls and mistakes of buying an annuity. The Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers contains the little-known truths about annuities, like how to help reduce your fees and increase retirement income. And it's free. That's right, free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report just for calling. We researched over 1,000 annuities and summarized rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. You get Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today. Hurry, supplies are limited. Call now.
800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. That's 800-760-1845.
Hello, this is Marcia Hawkins, and this is Elevating with Marcia. Welcome to the show today. We're going to talk a little sports, we're going to talk a little business, a little bit about gas prices, the economy, kind of a recap from a show I did a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, everything in the news is a moving target, so we're going to talk about that. All right, if you want to feature your business on a podcast, it's a great investment for your business. You can direct message me via Facebook or Instagram at Elevating with Marcia. Podcasting really is a great communication vehicle to catch a ride in right now. It's a fantastic way to get in front of your intended audience. Now, podcasting is not new, but it definitely has taken over the means for which a business can directly communicate and create superfans for the business. It's an excellent way to get your personalized message to your customers, your patients, your clients. All right, if you want to listen to the podcast, you can check it out on XM 203, Sirius 217, and on the XM app at 967 Sports Byline USA Radio Network. You can also catch us on iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, Stitcher, iTunes, and the American Forces Radio Network. Happens to be one of my favorites. A shout out to our military today. All right, today's show is brought to you by myhealth-quotes.com. There is a lot to unpack when it comes to health and life insurance, and I do invite you to stop by myhealth-quotes.com to learn more to how you can understand not only your plan that you decide to purchase, but really how to maximize the benefits and really how all ACA plans work and private insurance works. So stop by myhealth-quotes.com. Again, I don't advise that you simply get a plan online and get a quote. There's a lot that goes into it, especially when it comes to the underwriting criteria. Very, very important. myhealth-quotes.com. Schedule a consultation. Be an educated consumer of insurance. All right, we do need to pay some bills with a quick break before we delve into all that we're going to unpack on Elevating with Marcia today. XM 203, Sirius 217, and on the app at 967 Sports Byline USA Radio Network. So when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit about Cam Newton, released from the Patriots. A passing of a veteran Patriot that I really was a big fan of, and a couple of other things that we're going to be talking about with sports. All right, this is Elevating with Marcia, Sirius XM Sports Byline, USA Radio Network. We'll be right back.
The world is changing so fast these days. You ever feel like you're not keeping up personally or professionally? Enter Elevated Media ESQ. Elevating with Marcia allows you to advertise in a form you never thought possible. They feature a business in an interview-type fashion, which is comfortable, amazingly affordable, and flexible. Not only that, the feature on your business is then formulated into a podcast for convenient, on-demand listening 24/7, 365. These times we're living in demand a different, clearer, more concise message. Does this sound like how you feel about how you market and advertise your business? Reach out today, no matter how big or small your business is. Elevating with Marcia is highly effective, and you'll be so grateful for the superfans she'll create. Email hello@elevatedmediaesq.com. Elevated Media ESQ, changing your business for the better.
The pandemics reminded us we live in a sea of airborne germs that can assault us with every breath. Your nose is the body's first line of defense by helping filter out allergens, bacteria, and viruses before they reach your lungs. But like any air filter, the more clogged up it gets, the less it works. So how do you clean your nose? I'm Martin Hoke, and I didn't invent nasal irrigation. The neti pot's been around thousands of years. But I did invent Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to flush out mucus and germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you sick. Over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage has over 70,000 online reviews averaging 4.7 stars because it works and it's easy to use. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Now available with eucalyptus for a spa-like experience. Navage. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Angie's List is now Angie. Whether you need help with routine maintenance or you're planning your dream renovation, Angie connects you with top local pros who can get the job done right. See reviews, compare quotes, and book hundreds of projects. Plus, when you book and pay through Angie, we'll cover your project up to the full purchase price, plus limited damage protection with our Happiness Guarantee. Check out Angie.com, and for more on the Happiness Guarantee, go to Angie.com/happiness-guarantee.htm.
Between jobs, retiring, or just need health or life insurance, please visit myhealth-quotes.com or call 833-687-5261. Before you try to get a quote online, call us. We will provide you with the information most sites will not. We teach you exactly what life or health insurance plan you qualify for, how to use your plan, and maximize your benefits. We provide you with the information to make a knowledge-based decision to ensure selecting the right plan. myhealth-quotes.com to schedule an appointment.
All right, everybody, welcome back. This is Marcia Hawkins on Elevating with Marcia. All right, we got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to delve right into it. All right, in sports, college football back on with an Ohio State win over Minnesota, but not before what appears to be a season-ending gruesome injury to Minnesota's running back Mohamed Ibrahim, and the general manager with the Texans taking Deshaun Watson's status one day at a time. I guess you could read whatever you want into that. Bruce Arians, head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, answered one of my questions, claims that the entire team and staff have been vaccinated. Now, I say that with a little bit of skepticism, that the entire team and the entire staff has been vaccinated. I have mentioned a couple times that I'd be curious to know whether or not Tom Brady would take the shot, and apparently he has. So I guess that answers that. Although I have to admit, I'm still a little skeptical that he actually took it. But I have to take Bruce Arians at his word, of course. But I am a little surprised, to be really honest with you, that Tom Brady, knowing what I know about him and all the years he was at the helm in New England, I have to admit, I am very, very, very shocked. Red Sox still struggling a little bit, although they did have a 4-zip win over Tampa Bay Rays. And the Patriots say goodbye to Cam Newton, releasing him. I am very curious about this. Thinking a couple of teams that might pick him up, maybe Baltimore, Dallas, Detroit. I am very excited to see where Cam will land. I do believe he will land a spot on a roster, but I must admit, I was a little surprised by that. Very, very surprised, actually. So Mac Jones, number one quarterback for the New England Patriots, and I believe they will re-sign Brian Hoyer. Sad news with the passing of wide receiver David Patton, 3-time Super Bowl champ with New England, passed away in a motorcycle accident, allegedly. He was one of those players I felt never quite got the recognition that he deserved. He was the unrecognized pillar of that team with 3 Super Bowl wins. Still, the only player of 3 players in the past 50 years to run, throw, and pass for a touchdown in one game. I'm very, very upset to hear about his passing. He was one of my favorites, and it was kind of funny. I Googled him a couple of weeks ago. Kind of lost track of him. I believe he went to Washington after he left New England. And I Googled him a couple of weeks ago, ironically. I was always curious. He was one of my favorites. I still remember him in the end zone with this one-handed catch, and nobody made a big deal out of it. I thought it was a phenomenal catch. So I'm sadly going to miss David Patton. The preseason is over. Kind of funny. As much as I like the preseason, it's not really where my heart is. I think I figured out why. So I realize it gives me a lot of anxiety at the close of the preseason because I know it's trim down time and the roster is going to get trimmed down to 53. And I always know there's going to be a few that are going to surprise me, much like Cam Newton. And in fact, I even was curious whether or not he was going to get released. A little surprised, but not totally surprised. But I think that's a lot of my anxiety with the preseason and why I really don't like it that much. But I do watch the games, but I think I figured out my anxiety level goes way up when the preseason ends. I, of course, will trade that in for excitement because we are just a couple of days away from the opening of the NFL 2021 season. All right. And, the other thing is when you think about the NFL and pro sports in general, it's a very fickle business. I mean, you're only as good as your last catch, your throw, your last basket, home run, goal, your last hit. It's tough business. And I know a lot of players make it for a couple of years only to get released. And then, sometimes you never even know what ends up happening with them. And sometimes they do end up falling on hard times. So very, very tough business to be in. And the 2018 Masters champion, Patrick Reed, revealed Wednesday that he was later diagnosed with COVID-19 despite being vaccinated. He had been hospitalized with bilateral pneumonia, but it does appear he is on the mend, and well wishes to him. All right, I got Michael in studio with me today. We're going to talk a little bit of sports. What were your thoughts when Cam Newton got released?
Well, it just proved to me again that it's a business. It's just to give you a couple examples. Adam Vinatieri, they owed him $4 million. Now, we'll see you later. Stephen Gostkowski, Corey Dillon, awesome running back, 4 years. They owed him some more money. All right, we'll find somebody else. It just proves to me again, it's money and it's a business.
Well, I will say, and I'll excuse myself in advance for what I'm about to say, but I've always said it's a horse business. It really is. I mean, they just do not care. And I realized that the other night. I was watching the final game with the Patriots the other night, and they were showing when Cam Newton was marching down the field trying to catch up with Mac Jones to give him a high five. And I realized, for just a split second, I thought, they're not going to release him, are they? And I wasn't totally surprised, but I was a little surprised. I thought maybe they would keep him. I thought there was a shot that maybe he would start for the Patriots. I mean, Bill Belichick, as you know, never shows his hand. But I honestly didn't think they would release him. So I don't know where he's going to end up. Any thoughts where you think Cam Newton will wind up?
No, actually, I'm thinking about this. I think it was his hairdo. It looks like he had a giant tarantula on his head.
He did have a wild hairdo. I was not a fan of Cam Newton when he was with the Panthers. I thought his ego was just a little too much for me. But he came to New England. I kind of fell in love with him, and I really had big hopes for him. He came in at a very difficult time. He came, a couple of weeks before the season started last year. I've said it 100 times. The New England Patriot playbook is very difficult to learn. Bill Belichick is very disciplined. So he had to learn the culture. He needed to, get in sync with the rest of the team. He had, some veteran players out on COVID waivers. He had so much going on. So I totally give him a pass for last year. But one of the things I think about Cam Newton is that, and one of the trait that I think makes a really good quarterback is when they have the ability to not let their nerves get the better of them. Tom Brady was the master of that. I think Drew Brees was very good at that. I think Russell Wilson is very good at that. I think Peyton Manning was very good at it, but I also felt Peyton Manning was a little bit of a crybaby when things didn't go his way. I felt he blamed others. I feel like Tom Brady would, and Russell Wilson and Drew Brees, they know when they've made a mistake and they own it. But I always felt like Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, for that matter, I always kind of felt like they would pull the chin strap down and they'd kind of march off the field. And I always kind of felt like they blamed everybody. But getting back to what you said earlier, with the likes of Corey Dillon, I was a little upset they got rid of Sony Michel. But it's just shocking to me how many times that, and I really do recognize that is my stress over the preseason, because they're adding all these players. I know that they've added a few to the practice squad, but a lot of trepidation at the end of the preseason because I know there's going to be a lot of goodbyes.
Oh, absolutely. And to answer your question about where I think Cam Newton will end up, it's definitely not going to be Dallas. Mike McCarthy said not going to happen. He's happy with his quarterback group right now.
Did he make a comment about Cam?
Did
he? What did he say? I didn't hear that.
He just said he's a terrific player, but I'm happy with what I have on my quarterback.
Oh, interesting.
Roster.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not going to be Dallas, at least not today. But there's no more constant thing than change, especially in the NFL.
Well, I never thought Bill Belichick would say yes to him either.
Yeah, absolutely. Terrific football player, but there's only room for so many.
Yeah. I would hate to think that this is the end of his career. I really do think he is a good player, but getting back to what I said earlier, I really do believe that what makes a great golfer, what makes a great quarterback, receiver, whatever, you just can't let your nerves get the better of you. And it there's a lot of anxiety going in. I mean, as I said in my opening, you're only as good as your last throw, your catch, your hit, your goal. I mean, it is such a difficult business. I mean, I know a lot of people get a little sideways about the amount of money that professional sports players make, but I don't think people really understand the level of conditioning that goes into that and how much I don't want to use the word sacrifice because it's a wrong word given the state of affairs that we're in, but they do give up a lot. I mean, if you're disciplined, you give up a lot and you know what you need to do to have a good season, but I'm just not sure. I think the long-term players in the class of like Tom Brady, they are, that's one thing that they master is getting control of their nerves.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all conditioned athletes and everything else. I put it this way. They're focused when they're under fire.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. And, I know there's times where maybe we have lost games, I'm specifically talking about the Patriots losing to the Giants where I really think, their nerves got the better of them. I think Bill Belichick is really good at getting his players and getting their heads in the game, as there are a lot of coaches that I can think of that really know how to master that. But, again, it's one of those things you get on the playing field and, the crowds and the fans and, the smack that gets talked prior to these, playoff games. And, it just all comes down to whether or not you can out-psych your player, your opponents and go ahead and win the game. All right. We do need to take a quick break. This is Elevating with Marcia on XM. Sports Byline USA Radio Network. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more sports, a little bit of business, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Have you written a book? You can become a published author with Dorrance Publishing, the nation's oldest publishing services company. Countless authors have trusted Dorrance for nearly 100 years to bring their book to the market. Our professional team will edit your text, design your book pages, and create an appealing, eye-catching custom cover. Plus, our authors benefit from a custom book promotion marketing campaign that makes your book available where people buy books, like Amazon and brick-and-mortar bookstores. So make this free call right now to claim your free author's guide to publishing. Don't wait another day. Take one step closer to realizing your dream of becoming a published author and seeing your name in print. You've already written a book, so the next thing to do is make this free call right now to Dorrance Publishing and get your free guide to publishing. Call right now.
800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. That's 800-485-6003.
I'm going to tell you how you can get real health care for as little as $6 a day. Yes, now you can get affordable health care for you and your family immediately and save as much as 50% off your current monthly health care payments. Our plans are perfect for people that are self-employed, can't afford health benefits where they work, or just want to pay less for their current health care. And coverage is guaranteed regardless of your medical condition. We even offer some of the new Christian faith-based health benefits. Save up to 50% on your family's health care. Make a free quick call now. There are no contracts and we give you a 10-day money-back trial period. Call Provision Enrollment right now for your risk-free guaranteed health insurance quote starting at $6 a day.
800-472-5145. 800-472-5145. That's 800-472-5145.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
All right, everybody, welcome back. This is Marcia Hawkins on Elevating with Marcia. I'm talking with Michael today. We're in studio. We're talking sports. We're going to transition into business shortly. But getting back to what we were talking to before the break. So Cam Newton, any idea where you think he will land? No idea. What do you think about Baltimore?
A good possibility. Yeah. Can always use help there in quarterback. Absolutely.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I do hope, I don't know, maybe he may not get the starting quarterback position, but maybe someone will sign him as a backup. I know that will be very difficult for him with his ego, but I think any quarterback or any player of that caliber would have that same feeling. I always feel bad though. Like Tony Romo is another one that I really enjoyed watching, and I enjoyed watching him, and I used to cringe when he would come on the field because he was so accident prone. And I remember when he finally came back, I can still remember him getting ready to execute the play, and he goes down with yet another broken collarbone. And luckily for him, he found a good side gig.
Well, what's interesting is when he started out, he was the place holder. He was a quarterback for the Cowboys, and he was the holding the catching the snap for the place kickers, and it ended Bill Parcells' career when he fumbled one against Seattle and they lost the game, and that was the last game that Bill Parcells ever coached. So, but he's just an awesome announcer. I mean, he is really the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree. I like his commentary. I think he's very fair. I think he's just got a very he's very articulate. But yeah, he definitely he found his niche.
He anticipates the plays.
Yeah, he definitely does, and it is kind of great because he can, like you said, anticipate the plays, which is kind of cool. And he's 99% accuracy on that for sure. I know it's kind of funny when you listen to him. Sometimes they'll say, well, this is how this is going to go down. And this is what Tom Brady's thinking, or this is what Russell Wilson is thinking, or this is what Drew Brees is thinking. And he obviously knows exactly what they're thinking. But football is, it's definitely, and I know I talk a lot about football. It is probably my all-time favorite sport. I love baseball, love the Red Sox, of course, and always a good rivalry between the Yankees and the Red Sox. That's always fun to watch. Red Sox are struggling a little bit. I hope they can pull it back together again, and hopefully they will. The Yankees are definitely doing much better. All right, so we talked a little bit about Cam Newton. Good time to segue into business. So they're very excited. I mean, the NFL overall is very excited because they are going to be able to fill their stadiums. Some of the stadiums are, brand spanking new last year, not able to accept any fans or a limited amount of fans. So that's definitely going to help the economy. But, the jobs report came out this morning. The projection was that they would add 728,000 new jobs to the economy, and we have missed that mark by a little shy over 500,000 jobs. So it came in at 235,000 new jobs, which they're not really new jobs. They're just jobs that were refilled due to COVID. So that's a little concerning. I don't, there's not a political slant to this by any stretch of the imagination. We're really here just talking about overall what we think the long-term impact is going to be. Now, I'm curious, the vaccine mandate with the NFL, a lot of the venues, whether you're going to a concert or you're going to some type of, large event, they're requiring either vaccination papers or a negative COVID test. So I read last week that the New Orleans Saint tickets were going for less than $1.
Wow, I'd not seen that.
Yeah, they said that the fans are upset that they need to be vaccinated or they need to, get a negative test, and they don't want to do it. And so I think in part though, it might be the fact that Drew Brees has retired, so maybe they're just feeling like maybe the team's not going to do as well. I mean, I admit that Tom Brady leaving, that obviously there's a lot of people that had season tickets that I believe the value went way, way down when Tom Brady left. And, whether or not they rebounded with Cam Newton, I don't know. And Mac Jones, we'll have to see what he does. But overall, I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, these stadiums cost millions and millions of dollars, and then not to be able to fill them last year. Ticket prices taken a hit. I know that in some of the stadiums, they're looking for ways to do, no-touch ordering for food. I mean, they're really coming up with some really genius ideas on how to overcome all that. But the bottom line is the economy is really taken a hit with COVID. And I'm, again, not here to blame anybody or talk about, who needs to take responsibility, because it's ancillary at this point. But I do think it's going to have a long-term effect. Now, I know a couple of weeks ago I talked about grocery prices being up about 30%. Well, in the last week, I've noticed they're up about 39%. I didn't pay attention to it as much as I do now, only because it is such a dramatic spike.
Yeah, exactly. Gas prices where we live plus 50%. I mean, it used to be $20 to fill my tank. It's $30 now. I mean, it's only $10. It's 50%. That's huge.
Yeah. I mean, and then if you take the average income, the housing market right now, even though interest rates are really low, the housing market, at least in our area, and I know quite a few other areas because I've talked to realtors around the country, are saying that, the real estate market is on fire right now. Well, that's great. But the challenge with that is the housing prices are also up. Most people are paying anywhere from like $10,000 to $25,000 over the asking price just because there's 5 to 10 buyers for each house. So you're overpaying for a piece of property. Interest rates are still relatively low, so that helps out. But you've got gas prices. I mean, the cost of everything. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what it cost me to have just a kitchen faucet switched out, but holy cow. I mean, it was a lot of money, and I get it. I mean, I'm not going to, I was happy to pay the plumber to do it, but it was just shocking how much it was to have just something very simple done. I need to get on YouTube and learn how to do it myself, because my husband's not a very good plumber, no offense, but it's everything has gotten so expensive. So you have to wonder now that the sporting events are now reopening back up. Is the average family of four really going to be able to afford to go to a game?
Well, if you go back just a couple of years, it was a few $100s for a family of four to go to a football game with parking, and they want to get a T-shirt, they want to get some, eat, have a seat, parking, buy some pennants or whatever. It's a few $100s. Multiply that times, 60,000 seats.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money they were bringing in.
Well, I was sitting on the third baseline at Fenway Park watching a game. A friend of ours, Eric Cooper, was officiating the game. Eric, unfortunately, he ended up passing away. He had surgery. I don't really know what happened. Major League Baseball umpire. And he kept throwing me. Every time the Red Sox player would hit the ball, he'd come down and he'd throw it up to me. Well, needless to say, everyone in the stands was furious with me that he kept tossing, like, don't be a ball whore. They were yelling. I mean, I thought I was going to get beat up. They were so mad at me. So after I had like 4 or 5 of them, I started tossing them to the kids and whatever. But I was sitting next to this guy, and they came by with some bottled water, and the guy goes, yeah, I'll take a couple of waters. And back then, it was, maybe 10 years ago, but it was like $6 for a little tiny bottle of water. And he said, what are you going to charge me for the breeze that goes by here? He goes, for crying out loud, water's a natural resource. I mean, he was so mad, but point taken. I mean, again, I'm going back I'm probably going back 15 years at that particular game. But yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I don't know how, but when you factor in, like I said, gas prices up 50%, groceries up 39%. Another comment I would make about groceries is how empty the shelves are right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm noticing a lot on social media all around the country, people, commenting on that. Now you've added in a major, weather disaster with Hurricane Ida, who took, no mercy on, Louisiana and Mississippi. There was a horrible flood that went through the Nashville area. And now the remnants of Ida came up to the Northeast, which was already saturated by Hurricane Henri. And, they had massive flooding in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York. I mean, it was just staggering to watch those images on the news. So, we've got multiple layers of challenges with this economy. What do you think? And now, of course, I know they're trying to rush through not the stimulus, but the infrastructure bill that they're trying to get through. I don't think this country can afford much more. Do you?
No, I for sure they can't. And, I'll just give you a little example of the pricing of everything. A friend of mine said he went in to buy some plywood, and they looked at the price, and he said, God, I want to put it on my roof, not put it to a private school.
I know, it's crazy. I mean, it used to be, like I said, I think I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, like $22 a sheet is now up close to $100. I mean, my husband's working on a project right now that the guy wanted to do it a couple of years ago. And the builder went back and told him it's $150,000 more than it was a year and a half ago.
Wow.
Yeah, right. But he was going to do it right before the pandemic. The pandemic hit. He opted not to do it. Adam came back and he said, whoa. I mean, the price has gone up. So, yeah, just incredible. All right, we do need to take a quick break. This is Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM, 967 on the app, 203 on Sirius, and 217 Sports Byline USA Radio Network. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. If you're not using podcasting for your business, you will. Not having a podcast is like not having a website. Hi, this is Marcia Hawkins of Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM Channel 211, the Dan Patrick Channel. You can get your business on my podcast. It's a great way to create superfans for your business with a controlled message in a news format. What better way to get in front of your intended audience, your clients, your customers, or patients? Please contact me at hello@elevatedmediaesq.com about getting your business on my show, Elevating with Marcia. We also can create a personalized podcast that you can use on your website or social media channels. Contact me at hello@elevatedmediaesq.com and join me on Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM Channel 211, the Dan Patrick Channel.
The double play!
It's baseball season, and you're ready to go all out. So you ordered the essentials to make game day a success, like a jersey, a power recliner, and a bigger screen. And you used your Bank of America customized cash rewards credit card, choosing to earn 3% cash back on online shopping. Rewards that you put toward an essential piece of the celebration, an air horn. Apply for yours at bankofamerica.com/more rewarding. Copyright 2021, Bank of America Corporation.
My doctor prescribed me Viagra. It wasn't covered by my insurance, so it was costing me like $65 a pill. That's expensive.
Over 20 million guys like us use Viagra. Over a certain age, we just need it. I found a way to pay less than $3 a pill and get virtually the same effect of the $65 pill. I heard an ad just like this on the radio, called, and for $99, I got 40 generic versions of the $65 pill. Save yourself money and call right now and get over 40 pills for $99. There's no embarrassment here to use Viagra. If we're over 50, we need it, but not at high prices. Call now with your credit card and get the 40 pill special for just $99.
800-399-3691. 800-399-3691. That's 800-399-3691.
Between jobs, retiring, or just need health or life insurance, please visit myhealth-quotes.com or call 833-687-5261. Before you try to get a quote online, call us. We will provide you with the information most sites will not. We teach you exactly what life or health insurance plan you qualify for, how to use your plan, and maximize your benefits. We provide you with the information to make a knowledge-based decision to ensure selecting the right plan. myhealth-quotes.com to schedule an appointment.
This is Elevating with Marcia. This is Marcia Hawkins. Welcome back to the program. We're in our final leg of the show today. We were talking sports the first segment. We talked a little bit about sports and the economy, and we're going to pick up where we left off with that. So getting back to the jobs number. So the other side of that I didn't mention is that the pandemic unemployment rate is going back up again. So there's a question whether or not the administration is going to extend the benefits, the unemployment benefits, for the pandemic. What do you think about that? And, good, bad, or indifferent, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, what's puzzling to me is that they're giving money for people to stay home. They want to extend that. And then you look and you see it all over the place where there's signing bonuses to, come.
$5,000 in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, truck drivers especially, huge money. Mm-hmm. Clerks, which is a wonderful occupation, entry level, whatever, $1,500. Mm-hmm. We don't know what the details are. It might be going to stay here for 6 months or whatever. Mm-hmm. Who cares? I mean, if somebody offered me a job and I could get $1,500 just for showing up, it's not too bad,
Well, I could understand extending the benefits if the job market was dried up. If there were just no jobs out there, I could understand it, but that really is not the case. So I think if they extend it out, it's just going to extend the problem for the employers in trying to hire people. But you're absolutely right. Now, for example, a couple of years ago, we kept running out of fuel. And I would, call up the fuel delivery, we prepay it. So there was no reason for them not to deliver the fuel, but we kept running out. And this particular company, when I installed the new furnaces and so forth, we had a couple of issues with them. And so I was kind of getting a little sideways with this particular company. And when I finally went down there to talk to them, because on one particular, I ran out on Super Bowl Sunday one year. Then we ran out one time when it was really, really cold. And then one time we ran out and it was during the summer. So finally I went down to talk to the general manager and I said, look, I prepay this. Like, what is the problem? Why is it? And he kept giving me, excuse after excuse. And I honestly didn't quite understand it. And I was getting ready to change carriers. A good friend of mine works for an energy company up in the Albany area. Just happened to be having lunch with her. And she explained to me, she said, I'm going to tell you what the problem is. This is why you're having trouble getting fuel, because we're in the same bind. And what it was two-pronged. They were having trouble finding drivers, but you have to, when you drive a delivery truck like that, you have to pass a Department of Transportation physical, which is very rigorous. And there's a lot of people, and I know this from my insurance business, that I get a lot of Department of Transportation people who have to get a new career because they all of a sudden they can't pass. They've developed diabetes, they've got a hearing issue, a sight issue, whatever. They don't pass the test and they're not able to go back to driving. So that was the number one issue that she said. A lot of people have trouble passing a DOT physical. Number one. Number two, she said that they can't, even if they can find the people, they're not passing background checks. So she said it's two-pronged, and that's why. So I actually called up my carrier and asked him, and he said, well, we don't tell people that, but that is exactly what the problem is. So what we do is we try to stretch the deliveries out as long as possible. Now, I never would have thought of that, but I mean, something on the end of the chain, the consumer waiting for the delivery, there's multiple layers as to why that's not happening. I mean, aside from the fact that, down in a hurricane ravaged area like New Orleans right now, in Mississippi, there's other issues. They have to pull all the all the people in from the Gulf, anytime a hurricane goes through, and that puts a hiccup in the supply line as well. Not to mention we did shut down the pipeline, so we're not energy dependent anymore. So there's multiple layers to that. But, going back to extending the pandemic unemployment, I understand, the optics of it are great. We're going to take care of you. We're going to take care of you. But at the end of the day, all it is doing is prolonging the inevitable. And these employers, you go to a restaurant now and they'll tell you, we can seat you, but you're going to be on your own for a while because there's one server, there's one bartender. I've heard that numerous times. I've experienced that numerous times. Grocery store, same thing. Struggling to find people to work. So the people always say, don't use the self-service checkouts because you're taking someone out of a job. Well, if there's nobody there, you can bloody well bet I'm going to the self-shopper.
Oh, absolutely. And a good example is a restaurant. You'll go in and you'll see the marquee, and oftentimes it'll have the specials and stuff like that. Well, there was one that said, if you're unhappy with the service, you're not getting your food on time, please fill out an application.
Yeah. And that's really what it's come down to. So, I'm certainly not here to tell you what the answers are. It's just more commentary that while I know and I can count on both hands and both feet the amount of people that I know that, either have kids or other people that I know that said, yeah, I'm on unemployment. I'm not going back. I'm making more money on unemployment. I know a lot of restaurants. I was at a restaurant a couple weeks ago, made plans to meet my friend there for lunch. We went, we had a great time. We decided we were going to meet there the following week. Look on Facebook and we are no longer in business. They shuttered the very next day. Yeah. I was shocked. They had a line getting in there, and they said it came down to they could not find help. So, I just don't think that extending the pandemic unemployment benefits are the answer. I think we've got to get people back to work, and if we don't, we're just extending the problem.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's an awful thing where you pay people money to stay home. Not working.
Yeah. I get it when it first happened. So many service industry workers got laid off, manufacturing, and until we kind of figured out where this pandemic was going to go. Here we are, a year and a half later, a little over a year and a half later. And I was driving through UMass the other day, and it's business as usual down there, which kind of surprised me at first glance, because it has been such a ghost town down there. But then again, they mandated everybody needed to be vaccinated. So, hence that's why campus is full, everything, and of course they're playing college sports. And I think it came down to a financial decision for these schools that they had to get back open. Restaurants have to get back open. Manufacturing has to get back open. But at the same time, they're not able to fill these jobs. So I honestly don't know what the answer is or where we're going to go. But, and then of course, now you're layering on another whole level, which we might as well delve into it, is the vaccine passport. So they're going to require some restaurants, they're going to require that if you want to sit inside, you have to have a vaccine in order to get into that restaurant. You can sit outside. In January in New England, I'm not going to be sitting outside, I can tell you that. But it comes down to everybody's choice. And then just before we went on air, I researched a couple of different stats. I did not know this, but they're saying now that 80% of the population most likely has their own immunity, that they were probably exposed to it. The virus had the virus. That I read that report on CNN, just for clarification of my source. So I was very, very surprised about that. That was, something that came up, and that 80% of herd immunity. I can't even believe that. But it is a personal choice. The vaccine for people, I totally understand why some people would want to get it and some people, I'm not here to tell you one way or another for sure. It's a personal decision whether or not you want to get it. I would never tell anybody what they should do. I think you need to do your own research and decide what you want to do for yourself. I'm, very curious how it's all going to play out in the long run with, a lot of the sports teams, the professional sports teams, the colleges that are requiring the vaccine. A lot of employers also, which is where I was segueing into this, they are also going to be requiring vaccines, mandatory vaccines for people. Again, I totally get that. I understand it in some cases, but I also understand why some people would want to opt out of that and not get the vaccine. I, totally understand that as well. So do you think that the vaccine passports are going to be one more layer, a hurdle, if you will, that we're going to have to overcome with this economy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a couple of thoughts on that. It's just, does the government have the right to mandate that kind of thing? I mean, how much control do we want to give them? There was a coffee shop in downtown where I live that said, if you're vaccinated, no mask. If you're not, then you have to have a mask. Well, how do they know?
Yeah. Well, and of course, with the HIPAA laws, they can't ask you either. So what you have to do is you have to be, like, I know a couple places I go, they say if you want to divulge your vaccine status, you don't have to wear a mask. But if you're not willing to do that, then you need to wear it. So I think a lot of people are, we're just in a completely, we're just in a completely new, I don't even know what you'd call it, existence, if you will, of trying to find what our new normal is going to be, and are we ever going to get back to the way things were? I don't know, but yeah, I know we talked about before we went on air. It is a lot of people are getting fake vaccine passports, which is a felony. And I know my son lives in Hawaii, and they're arresting people left and right at the airport for doing that.
Yeah, it's this is one heck of a. This is something that's going to be difficult to overcome. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm not here to preach to get it or not get it. It's an individual situation between you and your, medical provider and your beliefs or whatever. But, you have to wonder now, a lot of, getting back to Cam Newton, they're saying that, his unwillingness to get vaccinated was a part of the reason why he was cut. Belichick denied that, but it just goes to show you it's affecting every facet of our life. Healthcare workers are getting ready to walk out. They don't want the jab. That's going to cause a crisis where we're already in a healthcare crisis. Then you have, the small business owner that's struggling and whether or not they're going to make you do it. I was surprised at how many small businesses that I know that are requiring their employees to get vaccinated. And I one employer that I talked to about it said, I think what you have to understand, and I never thought about it this way, is that they're worried about the liability. So if someone comes in and they find out that one of the employees had COVID, and a consumer comes in and they catch it, are they going to then be liable for that person getting it? So I kind of understand that. So, as a business owner myself, it's heartbreaking to understand that, it's hard for all the way around. There's just no
the liability for someone that's got the.
Right. Yeah. And then forcing them to get the jab, and then they have a side effect from it. Absolutely. All right, everyone. We do need to take a quick break. This is Elevating with Marcia on XM 203, Series 217, and on the Sirius XM app 967 Sports Byline USA Radio Network. You can find me on iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, Stitcher, iTunes, Tuned In, and the American Forces Radio Network. A big shout out to our military. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage is only $75 per month, level for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can buy $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rates for 20 years. And if you're a smoker, we have great rates for you as well. At the Term Lifeline, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. So if you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call right now for a free quote.
Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes are based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting exam required to qualify. 800-807-1981. 800-807-1981. That's 800-807-1981.
At 28, I had struggled with opiate and meth addiction for 12 years. I did and said things that the sober me never would have done. One day I realized I was not invincible. I was not exempt. And that's when a friend told me about elite rehab placement. They gave me the tools I needed to get sober, and all it took was the one phone call.
Elite Rehab can help you start to break your addiction problem and get sober in as little as 7 days. And we'll work with your insurance provider to help cover the costs. Plus, we have travel assistance programs to get you here by plane or train. Make this free call right now to learn more. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. That's 800-403-5912.
Hello and welcome back to the Ronnie Deutsch Tax Program. On the line is Paul from California. Hi, Paul. What's your tax problem today?
Hi, Ronnie. Love your show. Listen, I've got a big problem. You see, my paycheck was garnished last week, and I'm only getting half the normal amount. To make matters worse, the IRS froze my bank account. Listen, I'm embarrassed and scared. I need some help.
Listen, Paul, you don't need to feel embarrassed. You just need some tax help. And the great news is the IRS has some unbelievable programs that can eliminate your tax debt so you don't have to worry about having your paycheck garnished or your bank levied. Doesn't that sound great?
It sure does, Ronnie.
Then do yourself a huge favor and get a free consultation right now and tell them the tax lady sent you.
855-715-5721. 855-715-5721. 855-715-5721. That's 855-715-5721.
Okay, Mario, my producer, says I gotta go. But first, I want to thank you for tuning in and joining me today. Another podcast of Elevating with Marcia is on the cloud at XM203, Sirius 217, and on the Sirius XM app, 967 Sports Byline USA Radio Network. You can find me on iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, Stitcher, iTunes, Tuned In, and the American Forces Radio Network. Today's show is brought to you by myhealth-quotes.com. For all your insurance questions, I have the answers and solutions. Please stop by our Facebook or Instagram page or visit marciahawkins.com. We post the broadcast of each show there every week. If there is a topic, a conversation, or cause, or your business you would like me to talk up on Elevating with Marcia, hit my line on Instagram or Facebook Messenger. I will explain your options to be on Elevating with Marcia or allow me to communicate your message for you. A professionally designed podcast about your business is a wise investment and does provide an excellent return on investment. Let's take the hour and feature you and your business on Elevating with Marcia and articulate your direct message about your cause, your products, or your services, or your business in general. There's no better way to deliver a direct message than podcasting. You may use the broadcast link to post all over your social media channels, and podcasts are a great way for your message to continue to talk for you. All right, everybody, that's it for today on Elevating with Marcia on Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Catch us on XM203, Sirius 217, and on the app at 967 Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Now remember, always remember, I want you to be in the minute to win it. I hope you make it a great week. Adios.